Assalamu alaikum. My name is Fauziya Yakasai. I'm currently a PhD candidate of applied mathematics at Auburn University, USA. I'm going to be talking about admission processes and scholarship opportunities in the USA. Some of you may be wondering why just USA. Actually, all the processes are similar, so you can use this as a guideline in applying to other countries. Some of the steps you can use in obtaining admission is deciding which course to study. If you're an undergraduate student, you try to think of which course to study: medicine, mathematics, physics, biology, etc. Or if you are a graduate student, try to decide on your research area. It doesn't have to be like a specific topic that you want to work on. It can be like a subject. For example, you're doing mathematics, you want to work in differential equations and so on, because the research interest can actually change. I was interested in partial differential equation, but after I got here, um, everything changed. So you just need to kind of have an idea of the subject you want to work on. Then we have the school choice, and this will depend on your research area or on the course you want to study. You can Google search, for example, universities that offers physics or study biology in USA and so on. Then you have the admission requirements. After you choose the school you want to go, you can go to their website, check their admission requirement, because most of the school they kind of have a different admission requirement, but I will be talking about the general requirements. So when you're choosing the school you want to go to, I recommend you look at the rank of the university, so to avoid going to a school that is not good, especially in the course you want to study or the research area. So you can search what's the rank of the school by this course also, because one school can be good in one course and not that good in another course. Then you also need to look at the environment, like for example the weather, the facilities and so on. Also try to see the African community. You can contact the admission office to ask them about the African community. Some schools they have this kind of African association where you can call the president or the secretary. They will guide you on the admission, and they can also tell you about the African student they have. It's also important because if you go there, you will have people to kind of collaborate with. You have some common culture, and then they will also help you to get accommodation and settle down. Then for admission requirements, mostly for undergraduates, you need to have the SAT exam and the minimum credit requirement. Sometimes it can be like 7 credit to 9 credit. Then for graduate students, you need a bachelor's degree or its equivalent from an accredited college or university. So mostly they require a first class, 2-1, 2-2 with a good master's and so on. And what you need to remember is we use 5 scale GPA, and most of the school abroad they use 4 scale GPA. So if you want to calculate and see if you are qualified, you can go online. There are available calculators that convert from 5 scale to 4 scale. Then you have the graduate record exam, GRE. This is required by most science department and engineering department, so you can check if you require that. Then for management, finance, business administration, you need the GMAT. Then the general one most universities need is the TOEFL or the IELTS. I know most schools in UK they require IELTS, and those in like Saudi, in US they need TOEFL. But at the same time, if you have IELTS, it can serve as your TOEFL, or if you have TOEFL, it can serve as the IELTS. You also check that in the admission requirement of the university you choose. Then the letter of recommendation, this is very important. Try to make sure you get a good recommendation from well-known professors that can sit down and write a good recommendation for you. Then you have the application fees. In some university, you have to pay them after you apply. Like in my school, is I think it's $60. Some school you don't have to pay. Like in some countries, I know you don't have to pay. So the best time to apply for fall semester is around January to March. Usually fall semester starts in August, and for spring semester, the best time to apply is around October to December, and it starts in January. I will advise if you apply I will advise you to apply in fall semester, because most of the scholarship are offered in fall semester, and then the courses offered in spring semester are usually like the part 2 of the ones in the fall semester. It's just like the way we have first and second semester in back home. Then for the exam materials, we have some materials we will share with the people that register with us. We'll send it via email, and then you can also Google search it. Or some centers, like if you register with them, they give you free materials to prepare. I know some centers like in Abuja, Lagos, they offer such things. I don't know about Kano, if you have any exam centers now. Before I came here, I know we don't have any. I wrote mine in Abuja, so you can also do your research on that and see if we have centers now in Kano. Then for the training, also some some centers, they offer training, like you go there, they train you on the exams and so on. But I think if you have the materials and study very well, you don't have to waste your money. You should be fine. You can pass. Then for the exam registration, make sure you look at the application deadline in the university you want to apply, and try to apply for these exams on time, because it's not every day these exams are offered. So you try to make sure you register and write the exam before your application deadline. Then for scholarship, mostly we have the graduate teaching assistant, the graduate research assistant. So for the graduate teaching assistant, it's kind of like a scholarship offered to graduate students. So you get a free tuition fee, you get a tuition waiver, you get medical insurance, and then a stipend to survive. In return, you're going to teach undergraduate students. Then we have the graduate research assistant. In this case, is a professor that will have a grant, and then he will hire you to work on his research or in his lab, and then you have a tuition waiver, insurance, and also a stipend. Then we have the Nigerian scholarships like PTDF, NIDA, state government, federal government, LNG. All this kind of scholarship, if they are available, we'll be posting them in the platform. And then like some state government, they usually offer scholarship to their citizens. For example, I met some people here from Niger Delta, and they told me it's their government that do that. So if you want to find out more about your state government, try to go to the scholarship board and hear which kind of scholarship they can offer you. And also for the federal government, we have this kind of bilateral scholarship. I know some that go to Russia and so on. And then we have the Commonwealth in the UK. Okay, so for the graduate assistantship, if you're applying for graduate teaching assistant, you can apply directly to the department. If you have any working experience, try to include it in your application. If not, you can still apply. A lot of people that I know, they don't have any teaching experience and they are here. Then to be considered for admission, most departments will require prospective students to have a professor willing to provide supervision, but in some it's not. Like in my department, they don't need you to have any supervisor before you come here, because at the first year, what they need from you is to take courses, then do prelim exam to be qualified as a PhD candidate. Then in the second year, that's when you start thinking of the professor you want to work with. So that shouldn't be a problem in some department. And then we have when many supervising professor can offer assistantship to qualified applicant. This is where the graduate research assistants come in. And then you can also come in through your country scholarship and then apply for assistantship. Your first year results will be used as a yardstick. Like for example, in the beginning, I came in through Petroleum Technology Development Fund (PTDF), and then after my first year, I also got assistantship from my department. So you can try to get scholarship or sponsor yourself if you can't. If you can, and then try to impress the professors, or try to meet up with all the requirements and then apply. You should be able to get maybe after a semester or after a year. When contacting professor, make your letter convincing. Relate you can be an asset to their labs, research initiatives. You can do that. You can know more about their research by going to the website and check their profiles, see what they work on, to get familiar with the research. Then you write your letter. In the letter, try to include your research experience, knowledge, expertise in the subject area, your GRE TOEFL score if you have already completed. You can actually contact more than one professor in the department. Also, you can apply to as many schools as you can apply to increase your chance. Things you should remember when you are applying or when you contact a professor is that you may not receive positive response or any response, but do not give up. There are always professors in search of qualified students, and just like I mentioned in the beginning, there can be variation to this general pattern. So it's important to be familiar with the school or departmental requirements and admission guideline. Then in US, you don't actually need a master's degree to have admission into the doctoral program. What I mean, if you have a good bachelor's degree, you can apply directly and start your PhD. For example, I have some friends now that they don't have masters and they got admission into the PhD program. Then about bringing your spouse, I know some people will be worried, what if I get this admission? What of my husband, or what of my wife? The thing is, I have some friends here. The first one, she came here, then after a year, because she's familiar with the environment, she knows the professors, so she was able to get admission for her husband and also assistantship, and he joined her later. Now they are doing their PhD together. And the other one is a guy, he came here, he's doing his PhD. Then also after a year, he paid for his wife. She wrote the GRE and the TOEFL, and now she's doing her master's here. Actually, there are thousands of opportunities for us outside the country. So let's try to work hard and stop being lazy. God bless this platform. God bless Arewa. And thank you for listening.